guys have been waiting for, right? So now we getting clear of DC and anime and all them. Now we're gonna get into the Kings, boy.
Yeah.
Marvel.
Yeah.
Now they unleashing the King now to the world here.
Is this their first for the year? This is their first.
This is the first for the year.
First of the year.
Yes. King T'Challa himself.
Right.
Black Panther.
Oh boy.
Welcome to Wakanda.
So,
But I kind of just wanted to play la-di-da-di-da.
I have a double phone in it, but anyway.
Yeah, so they introduced this character in Captain America Civil War.
Yeah.
And it's pretty goddamn awesome.
Yes, he was.
Awesome introduction.
It's great.
That chase scene with him and Captain America and Bucky
great fight in the
is
airport.
just awesomeness.
And then he himself had a pretty solid arc on his own. So when they finalized everything that went down with Baron Zemo, I was like, okay, this is excellent, dude. Like, and then I was kind of shocked because like, wait, they basically do his origin story in this movie.
In Civil War,
what are we gonna get when his movie comes out?
Yeah,
that was a question. But before we get into the actual movie itself, we gotta talk about just the cultural phenomenon of this movie. Well, if you want to call it that, but this is we can't speak for the United States. I mean, it's Black History Month. Well, it's almost done. Sorry, but down here in Trinidad, though, just the hype surrounding the film and this reaction to it, though, is really amazing.
Yeah, right. So I don't pay too much attention to these things, but for this I did, and there's a big impact on the Pan-Africanism of the film. Right, film behind the scenes is Pan-African. There's people from Africa in it. There's 5 people from the Caribbean in this movie, and then Coogler himself went out of his way to look for these people in terms of the look of how to color and shoot dark skin, which is like always a big classic problem in Hollywood. And then they got I think it's the same cinematographer from Mudbound.
Oh really?
If I remember correctly, you could go look that up, but I think it's her. And she was nominated, I think.
You are right, actually. Rachel Morrison. Okay.
Not about yes.
Your points.
Right. And
she also worked on director Ryan Coogler's first film, first feature film, Fruitvale Station.
Right. And I just want to talk about Coogler himself. Like, holy shit, what not to say about this dude. No, I like Fruitvale Station, really like it. But you really got the sense of being the ascended film student stuff. If I understand, he came straight out to do the film. I think it was part of his final year project.
Oh wow! Okay.
Something like that. Now, here's the part that makes this guy really impress me. Like, what kind of balls you gotta have to come to Sly and say, I have a Rocky sequel? Think about that shit for a second. And he's completely subverted one of the silliest Rocky movies into something, when you actually think about it, especially from a black perspective, really, really works. Because that Rocky movie was basically a big Cold War movie, Ronald Reagan era. And say, alright, what if you take it and just say, alright, let's subvert this material and make it about the Ronald Reagan era for a lot of black people. When it comes to crack, a lot of lost children in the system, and a lot of goddamn tragedy, character building wise. Yeah. They just give us this amazing Rocky movie.
Yeah, Creed.
Right.
Love that film. That film.
And for me, it was like, wait. By the way, personally, it is my favorite montage in all of the Rocky franchise. Personally. That montage sequence with
when he's training and you hear that Meek Mill song. I love that.
Right, no, the Rocky Four, but the Rocky Four is so silly. But
that's like ultimate 80. That's the ultimate 80. I love it.
Karate Kid for me are the ultimate 80s montage training sequences.
But I don't know, it just did such a good job with just building this character up. It made the world work. And it's just solid, damn good filmmaking all over.
And as you can confess something here about Creed, that when they reach that 12th round and Bill Conti's music comes on, waterworks,
Yeah, it was
started coming on.
It outshone another movie that I had a big problem with. This was Southpaw. A huge problem with Southpaw. A lot of it was terrible and didn't make any sense.
Phenomenal.
It didn't work. That movie just did not work.
I like Southpaw, but
okay, we'll talk after why Southpaw didn't work. I'll tell you, it's just one really big reason, but that one reason breaks the movie for me completely. But I don't know, I just really like Tessa Thompson was in Creed. She was great. By the way, she goes into the MCU as another character, which was great as well. Called Thor Ragnarok. And then, just leading into Black Panther. Now, again, Black Panther was a movie. Given MCU's track record and Disney's track record right now of being, Well, pretty progressive for the most part, and progressive in a really good way, and largely healthy way. Now, you could complain about big giant corporations swallowing the world, but they've been doing some good stuff. And all right, if you're gonna have a Black Panther, you're gonna have to have a black director and a lot of black behind the scenes thing.
Of course.
My original choice in my head originally was supposed to be Justin Simien.
Easy director.
Director of Dear White People.
Oh!
He was my original call. It's like, okay, he could do it. And then it's like, but when you think about it, he don't really have that many movies under his belt. And then, another person who I wouldn't have minded if she did it, Ava DuVernay. She was another early call in my head. But then
Wasn't she considered at one point?
She was considered at one point. She is doing work with Disney anyway. So I was like, oh, she done Day on the Lot.
Right.
And then Creed came out. I was like, all right, this guy has to do it. Because, Creed was such an emotional impact for me. Not only Creed's character, but Sly.
Oh my
gosh. That was holy shit.
He should have won Best Supporting Actor.
Yeah.
Why didn't he?
Who won over him? It was Mark Rylance, right?
Yeah, from Bridge of Spies.
Mark Rylance.
Character.
I can't be mad.
He was great, but still, it's Stallone.
Right. For me, that's from a filmmaking standpoint. This kid, I say kid, because he's
31.
He's my age. I was like, this is like, holy crap, what a great meteoric, right? I can't be mad at this dude. I can't say I'm jealous or not. Because at no point it looks as if he didn't earn it.
Yeah.
At no point you get the sense that, you're no talent when you see it.
Man's born to do this.
Yeah, the man has a fantastic. Look, this. A little far-fetched to say this. Much like I was feeling a little off by calling the director of Moonlight, comparing him to Ozu. This is feel like an early Spielberg. This feel like what Spielberg was when shit was going down and he was really putting his name on the map for the first time.
Yeah.
I am really excited for what this guy has for the future in terms of his personal projects. From what I understand, he's going to be doing stuff like Mansa Musa and a lot of like great black story stuff to tell that story. Just make it epic as hell. Just make sure the project don't go. Because projects just go alright for the dumbest reasons. Yeah. But with the case of Black Panther, this goes well. I really like this movie.
Before we get to reviews, now I like what you say there about Ryan Coogler, because that's one thing that I can't fault the movie for. This is like gonna inspire a lot of people. Whether it's the characters in the film, which you'll get into a bit, whether it's the story and just the people behind the scenes, and then of course Ryan Coogler at his age being able to helm a big budget Marvel superhero movie, that is inspirational for film students the world over. That you don't want to be held back by your age or by your race or whatnot. You can make great films if you believe in it.
What he knows well is that he knows his audience. Because one of the big problems with film is that film has a cloistered culture where them judging you rather than the audience judging you. And he is getting this big back and forth about that. But I understand Ryan Coogler himself got a lot of shit for his films in things. He's not good, he's not that talented. But it's mostly BS from a bunch of dudes who they themselves never really make it. And you have to have that trade-off. I always make the joke, if you want to be a philosopher king, you have to be a king first. Make your money first. Then you become this big artist. And whatnot. And most times you're not going to pull it off on average, especially in film. Especially American film. How American film is just so brutal. You don't make back that money in your first weekend. Fuck you.
Yeah,
that's how they just move. Basic. I don't care how good your movie is. Look, one of my favorite movies for last year, pretty good, but it just flunked out, which was Blade Runner, right?
Yeah, Blade Runner 2049. Love that movie.
But it didn't do well.
Yeah.
But Villeneuve as a director already earned himself.
Yeah.
So he can make those failures. One of my favorite movies of last year. Well, sorry, this year, but last year, The Phantom Thread. But again, Paul Thomas Anderson is supposed to earn this right.
Yes.
Now, if this movie flopped, that would have been pretty much the end of Coogler, I would argue. And he had to make this work. And he had to make it work and construct it in such a way where it has to make a lot of money. To me, I kind of compare it to Avatar in some ways. Like in terms of how to cater to our 4 quadrants.
Right.
Money making, family. It's clearly for kids. It's an MCU film, so it's not like they're going to make this... they're not going to make this kind of like, how to cater to this, that, and the other. No, it's going to make a lot of money.
Right.
Full stop. That's what you have to do. Period. And we just to get into the movie itself, it does all of that.
Yeah.
It's a total crowd pleaser, but it works in almost every facet that it's set out to do. But we're going to talk about the bad and the good and some of its shortcomings, right?
Yeah. But before I just really feel as Trinis, that we just really have to talk about I still want to call it cultural phenomenon, just of the movie. Like, prior to its release and when it's out, like case in point, the IMAX and the Movietown premieres of this film.
Right. Yeah.
You know, just how lavish it was. They went all out. Yeah. They brought, African groups to perform and sing and all that kind of stuff. Sorry, to dance really. And I guess there was some singing involved, right? But really though, and while I do appreciate it, while I do understand it, and I think it's a great idea, the flip side to it, no. Like, for example, this whole idea that, people coming in the shikis to watch this film. Like, I get that. That's cool. You don't come in just whatever you want to. But in my head, I'll tell myself, like, this is not Emancipation Day, though. This is, and you're not America. This is not Black History Month. I'm not saying don't come in with the shikis. I'm saying that. I do understand why you're doing it. I mean, it's about Africa. It's about African people. I get that. And one thing about one part of the story that I love, though, but I'll talk about it a bit, where, like, there's and just numerous Facebook posts about the movie before it came out. Like, one person saying, there's a couple of this run through. One person saying, I really don't give a shit about superhero movies, but there's something about Black Panther. I just have to see it. Because, because it's showing Black people in a positive light. They're not gangbangers and this and that, and negative stereotypes. Which I'll talk about. Which I'll talk about in a bit.
Recently had Hidden Figures.
Right. I know, but there's a political disingenuous, trend going with this. And look, you see it all the time when you see stuff like this happen. The movie is unusual in that sense. Like, look, it's a really big, it's huge. This idea that a lot of, and I admit that Hollywood does have a racist, background in the sense of, well, look, Black movies don't make, and it's that kind of stuff. And it was just kind of, I need to go to my way to prove it. Look, Black excellence and whatnot. Look, I agree with all of that. For me, the movie has more deeper strength in terms of like working representation internally. And I'm going to mention this because something involving Sommerleigh's one of her favorite movies. I'm going to mention it. But to me, that is where the strength of the film laid into, which is they did cater to that audience. And yes, I do think politically there is I call it the jump in front of the parade audience.
Right.
So, types of people like that.
Right.
And I don't call them names. I don't think but it's not. It flows within the given narrative about the film.
Yeah.
Whilst within the film, because the films address all the issues. Now, and it helps intellectuals, both black and white, that really talking about the film in some important ways, because it does tap into that audience, even though it's for kids.
Right.
It taps into legitimate arguments about.
It does. Yeah.
About
there's a lot of depth in
right
the film,
about black diaspora.
Yeah.
Or about So,
but you're totally right though, because like I don't know, the reason why I keep bringing back up this whole culture phenomenon thing is that I'm fearful now that people have already and will go into this thing and just be like, wow, it's a black person and he's a superhero, but not realize that at the end of the day, one, it's a Marvel movie, two, it's a Hollywood movie, three, there's more to it than just black people on screen.
Right.
So people is going in with this kind of weird hype that it's all about black people and black people, but there's more to it than that. And this last thing I'll say before we get to your summer is that, let's throw this out there. Half of them people going to see Black Panther, I bet wouldn't even care to see Infinity War. Right. Even though Black Panther has a hopefully integral part to play in that film.
Which we've seen in the trailer.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, for me, with cultural phenomenon, I think timing has a huge part to play in this.
Right.
What is going on in the States right now, in the world, but mostly in the States, because they are the superpower that is represented everywhere you look on television.
Of course, it's all about the States.
And with Trump being the type of man he is,
that's
timing,
right? In my head.
This movie, at this point in time, black people are not feeling the love at all coming from their own quote-unquote country. Right? And here is this movie that is telling you, hey, this is what it could have been like. This is what it can still be like. Right? Yeah. And this is what we can be if we stand up and we be more than we are.
Yes.
Right? So it's timing, really. And like, you're right to say people are forgetting that it's a Marvel movie, it's a superhero movie, and you have the hardcore comic book fans like myself who are a little bit perturbed by that, because you stand up in cinema and like, these people don't come to these kind of movies.
Like the screen I went to, people stand sit down behind me in front of me with the shikis on. They're like, but like, well, I didn't see all that when I went to watch.
But I'll tell you something though, the connection is there because I felt it
Right.
And my connection came from the fact that there were Caribbean people behind the talent of this.
Yeah.
So there was, you can't really blame them because you feel like it's almost like saying, hey, that's my cousin on screen.
Right.
There's a connection that you would not have gotten with Captain America, and you would have not have gotten with, Age of Ultron and all these different movies. But we, as comic book fans, we always feel that connection to our superheroes.
Yeah.
But other people just watch the movie like, okay, yeah, it was good, whatever. But here now, this movie that you're connecting on an ethnic level,
very global,
on a level of a social level, all these different things. So this movie, the timing of this movie and the way it's inspiring people is where you're getting a cultural phenomenon.
As someone was mentioning, I was at the midnight screening for IMAX. And while watching the movie, Maureen mentioned Winston Duke plays M'Baku in the film. And when he first came on screen, they cheered.
Yes. Yeah. And Whitney as well.
Yeah, and when his name came up in the credits at the end, they cheered again. Yeah. So that connection, that Caribbean connection, and as much as mentioning, Shuri is Guyanese.
Yes.
The Dora Milaje has some Trinidad.
And the end credits, the animated end credits, Tobagonian had a part to play in that.
Right. So it's a part of us.
Yes.
So
and look,
understand the connection.
Disney. We go into about the film. We'll start.
Let's start. Can we start?
We will start.
One last point before we start. The thing is that one of the problems, again, it kind of line up with the American presidency and the politics of that, but there's always been a really, really, in my opinion, very pathological culture of what I call weaponized cynicism in film culture in general. And one of the big things about that is what weaponized cynicism does, just to shut down the argument entirely. Not so much the movie's bad, but because it's this thing that you're now celebrating, it's Disney. Disney's a big corporation, and that makes it a problem. And now I have to dismiss the whole thing. And no, people could derive good memories and good material from that. You know how I know this? They've done it before. How much people cry at Optimus die? When Optimus Prime died back in the days.
Oh, when he Transformers movie.
Right, so the animated movie.
Yes.
How many people cried with that?
I did.
A lot. No, I could come up to you and say, hey, that was just to sell toys, boy. You know, but that was the purpose of that movie. Right, that was the purpose of it. That's what it was. But doesn't take away or make it. Doesn't make it emotional. And that's the most important part of this. And that's why this movie works. Is that it's designed itself to be such a great crowd pleaser in that sense. And you have I'm sure there are a lot of kids that like this shit.
Another good aspect of it is like Netflix, Marvel is giving a kind of freedom to their creators that other studios are not doing. And maybe it's because they can afford to, because they're so big, because they're connected to Disney, so why not?
Yeah. And that's what it is. I mean, you've seen it with Star Wars. You see it with these kids. And look, if you want to make it a black thing, fine, I suppose. But you're just doing that in general. That's what I see.
Agreed. It's in general.
Yeah. And it just
look at Coco.
Yeah.
But so you could still have it. You could have it both ways. Why not both? It's both catering to an ethnic particular thing. Catering to race, I agree. Catering to representation. But at the same time, you have a working product here. This is not just it's just this and it's just our Marvel product. Marvel know what they're doing.
Trust me when I said the next one is going to be female. The next one is going to be Captain Marvel.
Exactly.
And that is going to be done, of course, by a woman director and handled in the same exact way.
It's a co-director.
Co-director? Okay.
Right.
But it's timing.
Yes.
It's a hot button.
It's a whole story right itself. Anyway.
So Sommerleigh, if you may, can you give us a little rundown as to what Black Panther is about?
Well, Black Panther is about Prince T'Challa, who is now going to become King T'Challa because his father was killed.
In Civil War.
Yes, in Civil War. And he returns to Wakanda. He's also struggling with what kind of man, what kind of king he wants to be. And while dealing with that, he has an outsider who wants to take the throne from him and actually may have a legitimate claim to that throne. So that's basically Black Panther in a nutshell.
Short and sweet. I love it. Right. So, getting into the review, right? So, I'll just say right off the bat, I thoroughly enjoyed this film. That's 3 thoroughlies. One thing though, which really makes this film work, because yes, going in, you're gonna have high expectations, and I made sure to have them low low enough, not too low, of course. But the reason being is because, yes, the hype that was surrounding the film. So I know it's going to get a solid product because Marvel, I mean, come on, they haven't really given us a dud. In a while. I mean, you could argue for these if Age of Ultron really sucked or if it was just a missed opportunity, but whatever. They haven't really given us a dud. I can still watch Age of Ultron and enjoy it for better folks, right?
I really don't.
But one thing that it really nailed well enough, and I think if they didn't have this movie would have failed, is the tone.
Yes.
This epic tone. Making it sprawling, making it so grandiose. That is what makes it work, though. You have to have it that way. And in my opinion, this is what the first Thor movie wanted to be, but just was too short. Because once again, it's a foreign country with technological advancements. But with the Thor movie, you had to stop and say, hey, we have to come back down to earth. Because we have to tell people, hey, well, this is S.H.I.E.L.D. and this is Hawkeye. We have to tie this into Iron Man 2 and the Avengers Initiative and all that kind of jazz. Instead of telling us, this is what's going on in Asgard. This is why we should care about Loki and Odin and his characters. With this movie here, you got a chance to see everyone. You got to understand their relationships, especially with T'Challa's family, his sister, his mother, everyone around him. And it gives us just enough time for you to understand these characters and their motivations without having to stop and say, okay, well, this is going to eventually lead to Infinity War, and this is what happened there. They do it a few times, actually, where you saw the flashback, and they do that so expertly well with the sort of dream sort of sequence that T'Challa goes through before he becomes king. This kind of spiritual journey, I forget what you call it.
He's in the spirit world at that point in time. He's connecting with his ancestors.
Yeah, it's kind of the equivalent. I think it's what you call a walkabout, like what the Aborigines do is something
basically
along
that line.
Spiritual. That kind of thing. So I like that you saw a little flashback there with his dad and that kind of thing when you saw the moment when it happened. But that's as far as it goes. It's just saying, okay, well, this is what happened here. Well, of course, you saw a little bit of like the United Nations and just the aftermath of it now that T'Challa's king, But like I said, it doesn't stop and say, hey, this is what's going to happen next and this is what it's going to lead into. It's really basically about Wakanda. I thought that was like a brave and, just a really interesting move by Marvel there.
Yeah.
Concentrating everything basically, at least the majority of the story in Wakanda. Performance-wise, I think that everybody just delivered just great performances.
Yeah.
Yes, we could argue that Chadwick Boseman wasn't really the standout in this film.
Okay, so I actually, this is one thing that a lot of people say, where he was getting sidelined in his own movie. Was like, no.
But I think that's the point of it because it's not just about him. It's about Wakanda.
Exactly.
But
to me, he had the presence.
Yeah.
I thought he had the presence. So I was like, go ahead. No,
I would say, I think Boseman was fantastic.
Yeah.
I think my issue was not so much with him. It was that he needed his arm needed to be a bit stronger.
Okay.
And I had a little more meat to it.
Right.
Yeah, so you really would have felt when he finally, yes, I'm king, I saved, Wakanda. You felt a bit more.
No, right. But his arc worked for the most. Okay, so this is the big problem with the movie, if it's anything. The movie is unpolished. At almost every little mistake I noticed, so me being the nitpicky type, I was like, okay, all of this was logistic problems, time, scheduling. That's me. You're just watching those little mistakes, little things like choreography in the fighting. It's kind of weak. Chases, just CG and the green screen, noticeably bad. But nothing that to break the film by any stretch of the imagination or anything.
Totally agree.
But it was mostly, you get the feeling that they had to speed this up from scheduling.
It's kind of like Doctor by Gaslight all over again.
A little bit, right?
The story is strong enough, the acting is strong enough that we can forgive the weaker points of the
But his arc I thought was really good, which is, the father fuck up, and this person who is his hero, make this such a gross error of judgment and a moral standpoint, and now he had to deal with that BS. The shock wasn't so much, Killmonger taking over everything, is that my father messed up so badly with this decision. It's such a bad decision he made, and it wasn't again, you can understand a mistake. No, this was a moral failing.
As you say that, it brings it perfect segue to what I was thinking is that there's that scene where he's facing all of his
them,
and he says, all of you have failed.
I thought it was great. That was one of the better moments in the movie.
Because it's like, there's something about, you see, when you put somebody on a pedestal, and my sister used to tell me, if you put people on a pedestal, when they fall on top of you, right? And when his dad fell, he felt weight of that, that my dad made such a grievous mistake.
Because the scene with him and with Zuri, that's Forrest Whitaker's character.
And
say so and so he was the king. It's like, I'm your king now. Love it.
Yes, that's what
strong
scene.
So I was wondering, like, what people talking about how Chirtana gets signed and it's like, no, I thought he was great.
He had very powerful moments as well, but like you said, that whole thing with his struggle with tradition over progression.
Right.
And you had the woman in his life almost representing progression.
Yes.
You know, and then you had the tradition, it being your father and what he stood for. I love that.
Well, you use the term struggle, and I think that is one thing I think would have really lifted his arc.
Right.
Like at no point he had made a decision and it turned wrong and he regretted it. Like if he came back and he talked to his mother and said, Mom, probably I shouldn't have accepted this challenge from Killmonger because I thought I could have beaten him.
Okay,
but I didn't feel like there was more of the weight of what his father had done, less than the weight of will I be a good king.
No, exactly. It's not, that wasn't the arc.
Yes.
The arc was holy shit, this person I consider a hero my whole goddamn life did this horrible decision, this horrible thing.
How do I
I don't know, that was to me his arc. That's why I wasn't thinking about what people was talking about, because that wasn't the focus. At least that's not why I saw it.
But that's a real good point though, because that's one thing I really love about this movie. It's not so much about telegraphing people's motivations, and it's like, okay, well, Black Panther is now realizing that his father did this, so now he must there must be this big scene to kind of elaborate that. It's more internal stuff, and that's why I love that the movie concentrates everything in Wakanda. It feels more internal, not just
and can we talk about how gorgeous Wakanda, the design? When I saw the top of that ship, I was like, holy crap, it's an African mask.
I love that. That white shot when the ship is going into Wakanda, when the force goes down. I swear to God, my pause race. And that music came on. I'll talk about music.
With a big, huge screen too.
I felt that.
So most of the aesthetic work, just something like, okay, again, this is another unpolished moment. You only have one block of Wakanda when you actually get to the city streets. It's
and I'm sorry, it reminded me of Thor Ragnarok.
The
scene where Thor is in the city with Bruce, and he kept saying, Bruce, no, I like you more than I like Bruce. I was like, did they reuse the sets?
It's possible. Exactly. That was noticeable, but it was it served its purpose, and you get to see like all the tribes represented within Wakanda, so you get a sense of how they live on average.
The waterfall is gorgeous.
Some people were arguing, well, not arguing, but kind of iffy about that one shot. That, when the camera lift up and you see all the
that was noticeable.
Like, that's noticeable.
Because you saw the people, and they clearly repeat the rendering. When the higher thing, now on a big screen, you saw that shit.
I did. I didn't take my out to the movie, fortunately. But
with that, because if it was like a 1080p and it was a smaller screen and the quality wasn't that good, you won't have noticed as much. But with a big super clear screen, saw it, and it was in 3D as well. So it's okay, so that's gonna get into characterization. Okay, so Sommerleigh, I'm gonna straight up tell you right now.
I'm agreeing with you, my darling.
Black Panther is kind of a better feminist movie than Wonder Woman.
I agree.
I would agree with that.
I agree as well.
I can fight you on that. In my opinion, you had 4 strong women, independent story arcs in relation to the story. They did stuff. It's a kind of bullshitty thing, but they passed the Bechdel test.
That's one more than Wonder Woman, by the way. We had the mother, we had the aunt, and we had Wonder Woman.
And then you have so you had 4 characters, all of them were great, and in a sense they made the arguments.
The secretary in Wonder Woman, that's your 4th
character. They never got back to in the end, unfortunately.
She lost scenes though, she could shoot more scenes.
Just never got back to the scene.
You have T'Challa's mom, the Queen.
Queen Ramonda.
Angela Bassett.
Okoye, Royal, right. And then you have Nakia, she's great. I thought she had probably one of the better arcs when you think about it. And then McGill, Shuri. She was great in this. No, okay, so big shout out to me. The closest thing I have to a charity is something called the Akira Chicks. I'm selling out my charity. The Akira Chicks is a big tech company, NGO, from Kenya. And their specialty is black female programmers. And I was watching this character and I was like, yes, she is the dream. Right. By the way, spend money, look up their Akira chicks. Give them money because they need more black female programmers in Kenya. And when I saw this character, I was like, yes, this character is excellent. She's a great character. She's actually pretty funny, but she's corny and nerdy and dorky in her own way. At no point you get any kind of sexualization from her. It's total nonsense. In fact, all the women, they do that a pretty good job with. Look here, nyong'o just make me melt. Love her to death. She looks great. But
she did in the movie.
They had a great romance arc with T'Challa himself.
Yeah.
And she was like, I don't have to come back in this thing. I don't owe you nothing. And they made that work. Okay,
the Niagara.
I love her. She had a great arc. And then she had a nice little subversive arc with her own material because she's known to be, quote unquote, this badass violence thing. And how she solved the biggest problem was with peace. It's a really great and funny moment involved with Daniel Kaluuya. I forget his character's name. Wobaku?
I
forget his character's name. Wobaki, I think.
It is Wakabi.
Wasabi with a K.
Yeah, right, Wakabi. He and her had a good thing. I get the feeling some stuff with them was cut.
Because some stuff with her and another member, the Dora Milaje, was cut.
Okay.
So they kind of cut out a possible gay.
Okay.
I remember reading about that.
Was that in the script or because they were
I know it's in the comics.
It was comics.
It was filmed, and in the comics it's not Okoye. It's a different
character.
Okay,
at first I thought it was Lupita and the Nai were
I didn't get it.
You remember the character? We're saying spoilers, right?
Right.
Yeah, spoiler.
The character who Killmonger slit her throat.
Right.
There was a previous scene. Now you notice how emotional she was when she died.
Right.
No, it wasn't just because it was Dora Milaje.
Right. Okay.
They had a scene where they danced together, and she's like, "You look good," and she was like, "Yeah, you look good too."
Right.
And I know I look good. You look good too.
Right.
They cut it out. Marvel has kind of been avoiding that a bit.
A little bit.
Because they were supposed to do something in Thor Ragnarok.
That's all right. I remember
They
cut that as well. Okay.
It seems to be the one thing they're struggling with, and I think it's because
it's a choice.
Yeah.
It's a
choice.
calculation.
And I think it's because of the whole all ages.
It's a calculation.
They don't want parents to be saying, "Well, I'm not bringing my kids."
It's a calculation because idiots would make noise about it.
But back on track with these awesome female characters.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things I loved about Shuri is I believed not only in her brilliance, but the fact that this was a teenager.
Yes.
She showed moments of fear, like when M'Baku got up in her face because he was like, we have a child running our technological division.
Right. Yeah.
And she was actually afraid because you can see she's heard stories about the Jabari.
Yeah.
The tribe that nobody really knows much about. She's like, "Mommy, is that the Jabari?" She's like, "Yes." So I love she was so balanced as a character.
I really love the female characters in this as well.
And I love that the female characters were Black Panther's strength.
Yeah.
Because when he disappears from this story, it becomes their story. And it gets stronger.
Yeah. But what it is with Lupita's character is stronger than Nakia character. When they start with her opening. It's like they do not Boko Haram thing here.
Yeah.
All right. Like I love
they went there.
Well, I love that they just thought of that little stuff like that. But then they had the part where a little quick is like T'Challa's going to kill this guy. It's like, no, he's an innocent victim too.
Yes.
Love it.
Yes.
Love it. Little stuff like that I love.
Two big topics right
Big
there.
topics.
Yeah. And that's one thing I really love about the show is that it touches on so much political and social topics.
Subtly.
It doesn't stop and tell you, yes, this is what's going on in Africa still, and we need to do something about it. That's the thing.
But this is what Marvel does very, very well on average. Now, okay, again, I've seen idiots say things like, well, this movie is too political. Iron Man 1 was political. Right? Winter Soldier and Captain and Civil War. Pretty damn political. Blatantly political. But they do Iron Man 3 and all. Right? A lot of people hate Iron Man 3. I thought that was like the twist needed a payoff. And it didn't have a good payoff. But I thought the twist in Iron Man 3 is very good, which is they do the fake Bin Laden conspiracy theory thing. I thought that was so clever and really well done in the world building. I mean, just the payoff was crap. Okay, I'm not gonna
fake news.
Fake, right.
That's good. Right.
But to me they did. So Marvel has a good job of balancing it reasonably well, of saying, oh, we still smart enough to tap into this premise of doing political stuff, but look, it's still a big budget movie, it's still $200 million, blah, 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 blah. And we get a lot of that with this, and well, we have to mention one of the better villains the MCU has had.
Thank you. Boy, Killmonger.
Killmonger.
Yeah, Eric. But with Voltaire's story as well, it was relatable, understandable. Granted, I don't like your methods.
But you kind of understand where you're coming from, and oftentimes you kind of side with it. You're right.
But here what they do, that's pretty good. One, he kind of do Zemo arc better than Zemo.
Yeah.
There's a difference between him and Zero. I thought Zero was great in Civil War. I actually really like him as a villain. People complain about he's too much joker and the implausibility of some of his plans, but when you think about it, it makes mostly sense, at least within the world. At least I'll defend that part of it. Some people will find out, it's so implausible and you couldn't have predicted this.
And how you knew Captain America would react this way.
No. I find it work for the most part. When you actually boil everything down and you actually spend time on the material. But the difference between him and Killmonger is he was tell-don't show.
Yeah.
While Killmonger, we got to see what was going down. I was like, oh shit, this was real hard. Especially that last scene when he became the king. But he had his spirit journey.
I love what the camera did there.
That was great.
No, but the scene with his spirit journey. He had the guy who played his dad. Skillen K. Brown.
Still in,
Oh, that was him. I didn't.
Yeah.
Oh,
really?
sorry, I didn't.
Yeah. Really?
No, I saw his name in the credits. I forgot who he was.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry.
I'm a big fan of Skillen K. Brown. Huge fan of the dude. Great actor in my opinion. He deserves everything he's getting to him. I was like, he's the dad. Okay, and I thought we was going to get him in the beginning and that's it. And then they hit you with our last with
That was one of the best scenes for me for the entire film.
I'd agree.
Exactly.
He is hands down one of the best, if not the best, but he is one of the most complex villains.
Yeah, they really solved this villain problem. I kind of worried for Thanos now. It's like, I kind of had to write Thanos good.
But just the fact that they were in that apartment and not where the other Panthers were.
I thought that was
that's where he went.
That's
where he went.
One thing though, the setup of Killmonger caught me off guard. I didn't know. I think this caught everybody off guard. I'll talk about the whole positive representations here now. Starting the film in Oakland, of all places.
Yeah.
I was myself in 92. I was alright.
Okay, so
connection here.
Couple things. I think Kugel himself, he is from Oakland.
Alright.
That is one. And then the Black Panther character.
Yes.
So Oakland is like a perfect place. And again, you could get into the political thing because subtext.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You don't need to know this to the mainstream audience who don't know it. But for those who do know it, Oakland has a really, really strange and kind of baffling history involving race, right? Oakland is one of the most fascinating places, and they make it work in terms of if you want to think about forgotten people in Black America, holy shit, Oakland is a place to look at because it's so goddamn dark and disturbing, especially for a part of the country that's supposedly liberal and whatnot. So Dave Chappelle made the joke, how it is you solve all this problem in San Francisco, you put all the niggas on the other side of that bridge. It's a whole bit from Dave Chappelle.
Right.
It's kind of a pressure point he made there. And they made it work in terms of that forgotten part of the country, especially with Black diaspora, and they had it spin back into the whole premise of Wakanda.
Yeah.
And his character kind of work.
Right. No, I like that just as set up a little way you saw the two characters.
Yeah.
Or the gangbangers, if you will. I was telling myself, the folks who was thinking that this movie is just going to be all positive representation of black people. Hey, look, some gangbangers. Hey,
right. And then they
flip it. They just flip it.
Yes.
I love
that. That's the only part of the plot that catch me. I didn't think, because I knew he was Ting.
I didn't know. I was wondering. I was trying to connect the dots.
And then they say, the opening sequence, again, big spoilers now, we just look in. So they say these two Grace Jones looking women, which was funny. Nice and
I just said that. I was like, okay.
Not to Grace Jones and Conan, because she kind of looks like Dora Milaje.
Right, exactly. That's the joke. And that was the joke. I was like, okay. And it is 1992, so they should know. But it catch me when the fella checked the thing. Now what catch me? He said, let them in. So I'm like, okay, he's Wakanda. Cool. And then, ding, T'Chaka shows up. Yeah. And then the big flip. It's like, oh shit, they had a spy on the spy.
Yeah.
Oh shit, he's Wakanda too. God damn, that catch me. Yeah. That's the only part of the movie that truly catch me. Everything else was pretty cliched. I admit that. Again, they played to its audience and know what it's doing. But that was a pretty good moment. It set up the world very, very well. Okay, this is how Wakanda operates. And they're so paranoid about anybody leaking this shit out that is
they spies in every
they spy on the
country.
spies. You spy on your spies. So he was a spy, and well, we know why he trying to go against, or clearly not doing what he's supposed to be doing, disobeying laws. And they do a nice little reference to the LA riots. So it's clear, it's implied that, he was going to make that LA riot so much more worse than what it was.
Yeah. Yes.
And the context of it, so that nice working comic book world building context of spinning things into the real world. Look, that's one thing the MCU got right. Yeah. Completely right in my opinion. In terms of doing real world shit and then have it spin back into the world building of the characters. You saw it with Iron Man. You definitely saw that shit well with Winter Soldier and Civil War. And they did a good job with that. I love that.
We're talking about characters. How you forget about my boy, we Tobago boy, M'Baku. I think, I really going into the movie, I was like, you're going to get a little one scene.
Right.
I'm going to beat him and that's it.
Right.
But he had multiple scenes. Yeah. I didn't expect him to be so funny.
Yeah.
It's comedic timing.
Great.
It was joke.
And you're talking walking more shots, by the way, like when you were sitting on in the show.
And you like him behind that.
But his line delivery, everything was
I was blown away.
I did not expect that much either.
Okay, so you'll catch me off guard because he had a line. The line totally feels like an improv line on set. He mentions, God. And he says, Hanuman. Wait, what? Hanuman? So here's why I like the thing is the case. That it was a nice, we call it improv line on set. Nice little ad-lib. And because he's from Trinidad and Tobago.
And it's a Hindu culture.
It's a thank you. I would love to think that is the case. I'm not sure truth. I'm doing it.
I am there with you because when he said Hanuman,
exactly.
Why are you mentioning a Hindu god in Africa?
But I know. It's so not African, at least historically. No, look, some ethnologists or some person could tell me it comes from that original. Sure, correct me. But that is connected by him.
Chinese will get the reference.
Thank you.
But the Americans will be like, Hanuman, whatever.
Thank you. No, one of the forums I was on, he was like, what god he was talking about? I had no idea. And I just mentioned what it was. Like, cool.
Another aspect I love, and this is a all Trini thing. I always consider our accent quite unique in the sense that when I travel, people that either ask you what accent is that, or they say Trinidad. I'm a friend from Trinidad. I'm from Trinidad. You know, that kind of thing. As a Trinidadian in cinema, hearing him speak, even with his fake African accent, you were hearing that he
as
an African kind of accent.
And I always tell my mother this, you could never hide your accent, no matter if you try to sound or sing like American or sound African, whatever, you hard to.
But what does end up happening when people try to change accents, they'll like take for example, the fellow from Walking Dead, who does play Rick. Carl. Right. He had this weird generic American accent. It's like, wait, where is this from exactly? Guys, you can't truly hide accent. There's no, either you're faking an accent or your accent is slip out. In the case of Winston Duke, it worked. And look, it's a fictitious African nation, so it's like, whatever, it's fine. You don't have to be accurate in that sense.
What's a big African accent?
Well, I deliver that.
We forget the two other characters though. We boy Andy Serkis.
Yes.
Yeah, how we could forget the why we could forget the white people in them, right?
Racist.
The Tolkien
characters.
Right.
The Tolkien white guys.
Now, I like the fact that both him and Martin Freeman get some more screen time. Because like in Age of Ultron, I mean, he was all Serkis was just there.
Right.
And with Martin Freeman, he was in Civil War just a couple of times interrogating both Bucky and Zemo. I was like, alright, well, that's it really. So I like that they get more screen time. Andy Serkis was kind of like they being the sort of pseudo bad guy, comic relief in a way. You know, to the over serious.
I saw Claude account.
I love that moment. You talk about when they mentioned this whole mixtape thing. Go to a song. So he's like the comic relief to Killmonger, so I like that. And what happens with him though caught me off guard because like, I thought he was
I was shocked with that. I thought he was staying in for a while, but
it's like dude, that's it.
You're done.
Damn, son.
Which I think it was a smart choice because again, this is Killmonger's story.
Right.
This is Black Panther.
This is one thing, this is something that's always bothered the hell out of me about American comics in general. DC and Marvel is doing shit all the time, which is killing characters and bringing them back. No. I like characters that die, and in fact, I don't mind certain characters die uneventfully, like relatively uneventfully.
But it's funny enough because somebody did ask me, well, how come they kill him off? I said, this is not not a comic book.
Thank you. I like that.
I said there are many villains out there. We don't need to keep recycling these people.
Thank you. There's one thing that's bothered the hell out of me, and bringing back from the dead. I'm sick of that shit. So it's like good.
And to me, you'll see, so that's his character. His death remind me a lot like just the setup with Killmonger at the very beginning, which I love in that British library museum. Remind me a lot like Joker, you know. Well, like that Dark Knight scene with the whole robbery where he thinks about this, he's actually about that, and he wants to take away everything, but he will cut everybody else just to grab it. That kind of thing.
Now, from the comic books, Killmonger, Claw is the one who killed his parents, in the comic books. So they take that whole arc and they put it on your boy Wakabi, right?
Yeah, they switch that up.
But they switch that whole thing up. But Killmonger has never been defeated in a fight between him and Black Panther. Both times they fight, both times he beat Black Panther.
Right.
So he is exceptional, like they make him out to be.
I thought okay, so a lot of people say he's one of the better villains, he should have stayed around and we needed more of him. No,
he serves a purpose.
How he dies and how like again,
and that line about bondage.
Right, no, exactly. How he dies, it makes him a perfect tragic figure. Because it's like, you could have saved me, but sorry, I ain't want this. Like at this point, and they make his character so goddamn dark in that sense. He's like clearly he's a sociopath.
Yeah.
But if you're wondering, you know, they get into that whole, I'm a product of my environment. You're not sure if you'd have turned out to be a nice person. And again, because of T'Chaka's mistake, he's like the manifestation of this, essentially create this monster now.
Right.
They do such a good job with this. Like, the best line for me is the part where he say, I forget what it was, but but Dad told me about this place. Imagine a boy from Oakland believing in fairy tales. Great goddamn line. It's like, whoa, that is so goddamn brutal emotionally. It had me choking up because it's a good line.
Just to talk about Killmonger for a bit before we get to the other white boy, right?
Yeah.
Killmonger though. I was gonna say, Killmonger. I love just how Michael B. Jordan played that character. I love that he maintained that sort of that American accent.
You
could tell he's from the ghetto now. And you know he just walking through Wakanda. He's like, what's up, homie? You know what I mean? I'm gonna kick your ass, man. I love that.
When he chokes out the woman who she tells him that this is our tradition. It's like, when I give you an order, you better follow that shit.
Like, I love that.
Ghetto. He's not kingly like T'Challa. He's not gonna carry himself.
No.
This was just so jarring.
And you buy into it as well. You buy into the fact that this guy could want to do that, but still be like, well, I went through all this hell before, and I'm gonna change that because I'm Wakanda.
One negative. It has nothing to do with Killmonger, the character.
Okay.
The costume. I'm tired of Marvel. Please stop mirror matching your character.
We don't need it.
Let's set it up earlier. They set it up earlier because there was a second costume that Black Panther could have choose from.
Right.
They set it up earlier.
And it works because of who he is. And the fact that they're both Black Panther technically at that point in time.
And look, from a world building look, I get it.
I get it,
makes
but I wanted to stop. I got it in Iron Man, I wanted to stop.
And there's not that much similarities for them to say, well, we need a mirror match of them.
Like from a world building standpoint, it makes some sense because like design-wise, this is where this is coming from. Why would it be totally different design-wise, aesthetically? Like I get that, but the mirror matching stuff buzzes me. I was actually worried about the film when I saw that in the trailer.
And even in the comics, Killmonger looks
his outfit
like Black Panther.
But they had a little callback to him because he feeling the mask.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, Tyson the mask. Okay.
Yeah.
That was the mask.
I didn't know. But he's like a massively huge guy in the comics, so they couldn't find somebody to match that.
They changed it. Right.
Compared to Black Panther, it's like that.
Yeah.
Which is somebody that apparently that he
could fight and everything just like this.
But I don't mind stuff like that because it's like, this is the arc. You're turning stuff from comics to movies. I don't really mind that. Same thing with M'Baku's character. They couldn't call him Manny Punch.
They
could not call this guy.
They gave him the
I remember like when the press was talking about, hey, Winston Duke's movie, you gotta be Manny.
Yeah,
it's like the going is like, hey, you have to be Ghanaian playing Manny.
Yeah, and when I heard that, I was like, oh, they had to change that.
Very good. You said no.
Yeah, that Manny.
I like Manny. He's the best character in the show. Like, they don't sound good. I mean,
but it made it work in the sense of
M'Baku on the other hand.
M'Baku sounds very powerful.
Yeah, thank you.
And then they not do it. And them saying, I'll feed it to my children. It's like, just kidding, we're vegetarian.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that line.
That line in itself is a frig up to racist people.
Because
right before that, he was going,
yeah, exactly.
So, it's just like, the whole thing is brilliant.
Yeah.
How much is a
Right. They subvert the material enough, and they subvert a lot of stereotypes in that sense. They make it right. And because again, there's a lot, and you can understand. Look, the politics get into this, but there's a lot of bad faith on the other side of this. Like, you know, how much times you see online, Wakanda is not real. Yeah, we know. Thank you.
Yeah, we know.
We don't need to tell you.
Right. Newsflash.
Right, and it's clearly a line done in bad faith.
He gets ripped on. Relax.
Exactly.
We know.
So go ahead.
Right. Martin Freeman. I'm glad that they gave him more screen time. For one thing, I like they give him more stuff to do.
Yeah.
He actually helps out in the final action sequence.
I actually like that action sequence because and they gave him the idea that he was willing to die for these people. Yeah. Because the thing came back.
Twice.
Exactly.
Twice. Took a bullet for Nikia.
Yeah, exactly. And so when I saw, we know that when we saw Claw in Thing, when I saw Claw in Age of Ultron, I was like, oh shit, Black Panther coming then. Like we know for sure.
But I didn't know that he would have come back. You'll see would have come back.
In the comic books, Russ is the ambassador to Wakanda.
Right. So when I saw Russ and Thing, it's like, alright, well, clearly.
Yeah. So that's what they were building at that point.
And they link it reasonably organically.
Yeah.
With the whole we call it the casino scene.
Well, good thing you bring up that because I felt that with his place in this movie now, that's where they brought in some James Bond elements.
Right.
Like for one thing, you have Black Panther and his sister. She all the tech stuff is like, well, this is Q all over again.
Yeah,
right.
Even right down to the leave that alone. Be careful with that. What are you doing? Come on.
Even when it's slapstick.
We got James Bond. We got Dune. We got all these.
We had the water those line. Just funny. The part with the kick. I say don't record that. Great line.
But however, though, this is not a negative though. But when you reach that actual that casino scene in Busan of all places, I didn't know they were going South Korea. So
right.
I was watching that whole thing. It's like, but this is Skyfall though.
Right.
When they went to the casino, I think it's in Manila, one of those places. It just felt like that the interior, the colors and everything.
Skyfall.
I love Skyfall.
Yeah, I remember seeing. So because of James.
And just where I have like a little shootout thing, I was like, this is Skyfall all over again. Yeah, Roger Deakins just killing, right? Yeah. And then, well, it doesn't lead to a catch. It's in Skyfall, but it kind of comes close to it.
Right.
So that was great. But let's talk about the music, but I wish I could pronounce this guy's name. But this score is one of the best that I've heard in a movie so far this year, I should say, because still February at the time it's recorded.
It kind of better than the rap album they put together. It's like as a soundtrack to me superior to the rap album they had.
I'll talk about that,
the rap album good, but like the soundtrack way superior. I didn't know it had such good tracks on it because I was thinking it's generic Marvel stuff and you have one good song, right?
Alright, his name is Ludwig Göransson. I believe that's how you pronounce his surname, but that score was so goddamn brilliant. I love how they use African instruments, the percussion. And one thing that I noticed, though, good thing that you mentioned, the music inspired by the movie, which is the soundtrack album that Kendrick Lamar and his TDE label brought out, I think it's a couple of weeks or so before the movie came out. There were certain musical cues that they used in that album that they did it. For one thing, there's this kind of thing that you hear in some dramatic moments. You hear that a couple of times in that song, in that Kendrick ring, right? Yeah. Also, in that song that we love, Kingston, with that feature, that la-di-da-di-da. Right. So when it reaches a Kendrick moment, it ends with that toot, right? That female sort of chanting kind of thing, and you hear it when you see the nice characters, when you see the women, I forgot the name of the group.
Dora Milaje,
Right, when you see them fight and you just hear that I was like, yes, I love it. This is so brilliant. I love this. But the music is just so majestic that you really do feel like it is epic, and I feel it added a lot to the epic feel of the movie.
Right.
Also, just going back to the song, to the Kendrick album itself. There are a couple of songs that you do. Well, actually, 3 songs that you hear. Then one is "Pray for Me." That's the one that the weekend. That's what they play in the casino scene.
Right.
I love that it didn't kind of stop until it kind of telegraphed that it's from the album guys.
Right.
It's just there in the background.
Yeah, that's fine.
If you notice it, you notice it. If you don't, whatever.
When Claw came in or driving, that was.
I think when Claw was driving, he said,
I don't know what song
a funeral, change that, and that is how they kind of sing it. And the music kicks.
I'm not sure what song that was, though. But the chase scene in particular, that's I forgot the name of it, but. I know it's a track with Vince Staples, Kendrick Lamar, and there's this South African rapper. It's a female, right? And she just kills that verse. She kills it.
Right.
You need to hear. But anyway, so I like how they use that there. And then, of course, in the end, with the end credits, hearing all these stars. And I was telling my friends, they're going to play all these stars for the credits. And they're going to play all these stars for the credits.
Yeah, they have to.
And they did. And it sounded gorgeous.
By the way, so Marvel, I'm going to straight up say, Marvel have been killing it with these great post-credit animations.
Yes, but
like, okay,
I love how they use it here with sand and everything.
It was first noticeable with Winter Soldier. I thought Winter Soldier had that great animation sequence and
I was going to say Iron Man though. Like Iron Man
was still normal. Like it was still.
I don't even remember that.
But they had Ozzy Osbourne's Iron Man song. You saw like some blueprints, like some graphic stuff. It was short, but it was
but to me, the iconic look what they did with Winter Soldier.
Yes. And then with that music in the background.
Yeah, exactly. And then Civil War.
Civil War with the shadows. Oh my god.
Doctor Strange, great.
Yeah.
Thor, Ragnarok, one of the better ones actually. And then this one, I was loving this kind of weird tree sand thing.
I love that.
That's the black sand, the vibranium
exactly.
sand.
And that was so great. I was like,
and I love that with the bass, with the music and stuff. It is like you see moments where it's just rumbling. Brilliant. I love that. Yeah. So music was on point for me. I think it really added a lot to the movie. I love the fact that it didn't decide to go, it's Kendrick Lamar, man, so let's just throw a whole bunch of his songs in the album. No, it's just few fun in between, but it's really about Goranson's soundtrack and how it works in the film.
Well, the final action sequence was pretty good in this, but it was a little generic.
It was,
a little bit.
But especially when they incorporate the whole Sonic subway thing.
Yeah, but speaking of the two Tolkien white guys, a little bit of Lord of the Rings in this.
With a
blowing of a horn and some rhinos.
When I saw that, I was like, okay.
It is goofy, but
let's slide because
it's one of those cases of what you call my kind of goofy. Like, it's goofy, but I was enjoying it. I was like, I have it fun with this. And they rip off a straight up shot from the comic where Black Panther grabs a rhino and bring it down. Same thing that they took from the comic. They did, as I say, one of the weaker movies is Wakanda. His arc I thought was a little rushed. You get the feeling that they cut some stuff. You was mentioning the whole, it's implied bisexuality of Okoye's character, but she was with him as well.
Well, the whole thing is they were not supposed to have a relationship. So actually, Okoye was supposed to be just gay. They was not supposed to be that. And then Marvel, when they were like, no.
They had my love. Because they had it because the thing is, with her arc and him, to me, it worked. Because I was thinking, alright, she loyal to the throne. He
loyal to himself.
Well, he was loyal. He ended up turning he turned against the decision because he's still loyal to the throne, quote unquote. But it was kind of disingenuous, and because of what went on with not killing Claw.
He basically had a hand in overthrowing his king.
Exactly.
So I look at that as treason.
Right. Exactly. Well, that's the thing, is that it was legal. That's the good part about it, that the villain just subvert the system. He didn't do anything illegal. The only time he crossed the line is when he didn't accept the challenge back.
I'm sorry, but if I was T'Challa, your backside not guarding my borders anymore. One tribe me to move back, and let another tribe take over that.
Right, but they make it work in that context.
I love what they're showing so far.
Right, sure. I love that. That was again, that is such a
why they were walking around with blankets.
It's such a goofy. It's such a goofy thing.
It's goofy, but it works.
It's my kind of goofy. That is like, that's so silly, but it worked.
Well, that's the thing with me. Well, also with the movie in general, because I mean, yes, it is flawed, and there are a couple of like moments where it's like,
unpolished. So like nitpicky.
But however, though, because of how grandiose it felt. Like I said, my kind of goofy is just like, alright, I just let us say. So right now where you saw, Daniel. Daniel. Wakabi. No, I just thinking actors, like real actors names, right? But whatever. When he blew that horn and then the rhinos come out, I was like, well, of course that had to happen. I just let
we saw him raising rhinos at some point.
Exactly. And that was like a nice little setup there.
And then back when it's back.
But you know that's coming because he straight up said, well, I don't gotta help you. He was like, you gotta help me.
You're gonna help me.
Surprise.
But here's the thing though with that final whole thing. I pick and choose what I like out of that action sequence. There are things that worked for me and things that didn't.
Right. So I thought all the Ross stuff worked. For me. When Killmonger's taking on the Doral Malaji, great
I love that fight. I love that fight.
And that music, of course.
I love that whole fight.
I thought they could have made, again, it's a matter of scale. You get the scene that they had to rush this, so it's seemingly big, but it's not that big when you actually get closer. So when the Jabari came back, I was like, all right, this is kind of small, whatever. But they had some good moments with Black Panther himself. They had a great moment. You saw it in trailer, but you saw this when he flipped over them and then do the shockwave thing. That was cool. And for the most part, it built up its action quite well. You know, Shuri and Nakia had to be in trouble. Nakia, when she was in a battle
outfit. Holding her own.
Yeah, that was a very badass battle outfit as well, and they made it work.
Well, sorry to cut you, but one thing though, we had a good credit where credit is due though. Like, Ryan Coogler, boy, the man could do action sequences.
Yeah.
Like, we saw him do fight scenes for Creed, but my God, this man could really hold his own with action sequences.
He can do action sequences, but he can't do fight sequences. That's my
it's like, no, getting the problem. This
is a
classic problem. Now, for me, I had this is roughly the same problem I had with Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange was only the last piece was very clever. But yeah, the action sequence before.
Well, it's magic, so it's a little difficult to.
I just talk about how this stuff we fight cut together. Just like weird editing and these kind of bad like little cuts. And again, that's just rush job stuff. And with this, you got the same thing. So even Thor Ragnarok had these fights like, okay, they could have cut this a little better. And then, so the movie fall into the usual MCU trappings. It's not a Coogler problem. It's an MCU.
But the Civil War fight scenes
are Civil War, right?
All of that.
Yes, what I want to mention.
That guy to shoot at, not the directing.
Civil War. It's the Russo brothers, though. It's a different style.
Civil War is a different. Civil War still had some of those problems editing-wise, but the Russos, they step it up. Like for me. Again, we keep going back to Winter Soldier, but the street fight.
Yes.
With Falcon, Black Widow, and Cap versus Bucky. I was like, amazing goddamn fight. But the Russos is a different level. The Russos learn to transcend the big budgeting, and Coogler, I'll straight up say it, I think it's because Coogler is so young. He doesn't understand the system enough, so it still had to go by the usual, you had to color within the lines as you say. And it ended up not serving the film well. You know, because if I would say if he had like about a couple months again, he'd have sit down and say, all right, let's get this fight right. And we shoot it. Like it had a polish. Exactly, to put that polish on. Like they had a noticeably bad part with M'Baku fighting T'Challa at the beginning, where T'Challa's foot slipped out from the grapple. So like, if your foot slipped out from that grapple, you get out the grapple. And look, Winston Duke is clearly bigger than Chadwick Boseman. So it's like, okay, come on.
He's bigger than both males, right? He's bigger than Killmonger.
Exactly. But they could have cut it better. They could have cut that better. Like the shot, just have the shot where you have him hooking the foot better and just do back the shot. Little stuff like that.
Right. But as I mentioned that before we get to rated, right? The second fight scene, right? With Killmonger. The first fight scene with Killmonger and Black Panther, right? Himself. Once again, going to the my kind of goofy, right?
Yeah.
I felt like when you were going for like dramatic moments, it was almost like how they attempted with Thor, trying to be all Shakespeare, like you did this, and it's like no, and oh my God, all that kind of stuff now. But I bought into it once again because of the epic scope. It almost felt like a given, like it meant to happen.
To me, the fight scenes in the waterfall, all of them, Killmonger and M'Baku versus Black Panther, worked for me better than the fight scenes when he was wearing the Black Panther suit.
That's true. Yeah.
Because I could clearly, first of all, he moved like a cat.
Yeah,
the moves would be moves that I would expect to see a cat would do it with the back kicking and the way he would hook his legs and flip and stuff. Yeah. I could clearly see what was going on in those fight sequences most of the time.
Right.
The Black Panther, like for instance, the one in the forest in the night, if it was not on that big IMAX screen, I think I would be struggling to see what was going on.
And I was shaking.
But the purpose of that scene
to be stealthy looking.
Yeah, right. So that's fine. But the stuff, I thought something, again, just polish. The scenes in Korea.
And that final one, it reminded me of, is it when Spider-Man was falling off the building and fighting somebody?
Spider-Man 2.
Yeah,
fighting.
Oh, yes.
Falling. That's what it looked like to me.
I don't know, personal nitpick I felt is a subway that they use, right? Some kind of subway.
It's the same to transfer the vibranium.
Yeah.
Right, to transfer that.
When you turn on the sound waves, it weakens the vibranium.
Yeah, no, right. That was the purpose. She created this thing to basically have vibranium shut off.
Right.
Like what vibranium? So you could transform transport massive amounts.
Right.
Apparently it's very unstable.
Yeah, they couldn't do it. So that's how she solved the problem from the engineering standpoint. But what happened is that it's damaged the suit. The suit itself, the whole suit go down.
Personally, I find they could have just utilized that a little bit better instead of, okay, we have this moment for us to stop and breathe, and then the suit kind of goes. So now we have to talk while this big thing going, and it's like, you killed me, you killed my father, blah blah blah, and then we fight again. I find out it's a little too cliche.
I have a question. Did somebody hide some of those plants? And there's more of those plants, right?
It's one. That's the whole point. I mean, it was just.
They're probably going to find it in some way.
The implication is that, it's the answer, the real world weaponized cynicism problem, right? How come you don't do this, and how come you don't do that? Well, you get burned down. Okay, so now T'Challa's the only person with his strength, and now only, what do you call it?
So it's permanent.
It's right.
Once you drink it, is it permanent?
Well, we don't know.
At least he can't go it back.
He challenges him and he drinks the stuff where he drains away. Right. There's no more to take back.
Right. So that means the idea is that nobody's going to challenge him for a while. Yeah. And when given the future of the MCU, which is
until Black Panther 2.
We don't know what happens. However, the point is that he had to justify why you're going to get back them plants.
Right.
That's the whole point. Because he had to do the sad part about movies is that he had to do the real world bullshit. Well, how come everybody now wearing an Iron Man suit? And how come so and so? And how come Iron Man suit do this guy mash up this time, but he could handle a tank shot at this time? And look, Marvel, this fuck up sometimes. Fine.
Yeah. But they're human after all. Come on.
And again, there's a big debate about who's stronger, Captain America or Spider-Man. But Spider-Man clearly pulled his hand, and that's in universe science. I really don't give a shit about.
Spider-Man is stronger, but Captain America is a better fighter.
Right.
And I would put my money on a better fighter.
Right. That was the concept.
I would say Captain America is stronger.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that picture he doing Civil War or whatever.
No.
Like what Tony Stark has said,
Spidey is strong.
You got the shield because he wanted you to get the shield, basically. Because Cap would have recognized as a child.
Right. No, Spidey is stronger because Spidey straight up blocked Bucky arm, though. It's like,
Spidey real arm strong.
But then we see when Spidey and Cap was fighting, we see Cap pulling him around, but there was more leverage and skills. And
that's what I'm thinking. It's more skills
and
I know how to move you.
Right.
As opposed to
Spidey's still young now, so it's like whatever.
Right. Closer was unrated.
Right.
Who's first? You.
For me, again, this IMAX, solid IMAX, not IMAX, solid IMAX. The nitpicky unpolishedness pulls it back a little bit. And again, that's just production. That's just a project management problem. You can't do anything about that. Marvel say, look, you have this time, you have to do it. Look, this project got a lot more of a fair shake than Iron Man 1. Iron Man 1 was supposed to straight up fail. And this got a good chance, and it got its chance. And they still had, for a big Disney production, it should have had, some of the CGI and the green screening should have been better. That's about it. Some of the arcs I thought didn't work for the most part, and it was generally a cliche arc, but it worked. I mean, this straight up do the Lion King thing, and it worked. I had a lot of fun with it. For this, I really like this. This is one of the, in my opinion, it is one of the better MCU films.
Yes.
Yeah. Because of the villain. It's one of the better villains.
That guy truly elevated that.
He's one of the better villains in my opinion. I have to say it was what they should have done with Zemo. I really like this movie. I had a lot of fun with it. And yes, you could get into the politics. Yes, okay, thank you. But you can understand why the politics exists because it's unfortunate bad fate on both sides operating. So look, let people come in and jump in front of the parade, let them get a movie. February gone done, and we go start thinking about Civil War soon. Cool.
Yeah, sweet.
Infinity War.
Careful.
Yes, your mind still on that Civil War fight.
Alright, Julien, you're into the closing thoughts?
Sure, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Where I would take away points, a huge Black Panther fan, and I thought I would have a bit more Black Panther, I would have better Black Panther fight, I would have a little more meat on the Black Panther arc. Yeah. But the ladies, as Ricardo said, were fantastic. They made the movie for me. The whole world, the deeper themes of it. This is one of the most impressive looking Marvel movies. Yeah. I think one of the most important MCU movies, and one of the best. I give it 4 Vibranium claws out of 5. Definitely.
Alright, so closing thoughts and rating?
Well, I am just so happy when a movie could prove people wrong. And like Wonder Woman, they said a female-driven superhero couldn't work. And she nailed it.
They say it could work, but it can't sell.
It can't sell. They say it couldn't work. They say it can't sell. Nobody would go and see it. She proved them wrong. And here we have Black Panther. Yeah. Granted, we did go and see Blade, and we forget about poor Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, boy. By the way, By the way, sorry to stop you there. Wesley Snipes initially wanted to do this way back in the early 90s.
True.
If that had happened, we would have got spawned.
They succeeded where they needed to succeed, and that's what's important. Yeah. And granted, there were some missteps. Like I said, I didn't think the CGI was that strong. Yeah. I thought the action sequences were fantastic, but the fight sequences were weak. But the missteps are stuff I could easily forgive. I give this an 8.5 out of 10, and it is in my top 3 Marvel movies.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
okay.
I
have it at about 5 right now.
Top 5? Yeah.
5-ish. Because it competed with Guardians of the Galaxy 1.
Okay.
I love to.
Yeah, and because both films it have so many good moments in that, but that had its problems as well. It fluctuated between 5 and 6 right now. But for me, it's Iron Man 1, Civil War, Winter Soldier, and I think it's something else in my head. I forget, it's slipping my mind right now. What number 4? Beaten it. Oh God, my brain.
Anyway. Well, while you figured out my closing thoughts on Rated, right? Yeah. So this is like a tricky film to review because yes, we could talk about the flaws and talk about the little nitpicks about the CG, and I would admit yes, there are some noticeable moments there, but this is one of those shows that I just know, just like with Logan, for example, where and Guardians of the Galaxy as well, and Guardians of the Galaxy, I should say, where the more I watch it, because I do need to see this again, the more I see it, I know I'm going to love it even more, despite those flaws. True. Just because of the heart, the effort that they put into it. From costume design, why?
Oh my God,
this needs to be nominated for a cameo.
That's what's special might happen.
Just Ruth Carter, who did the costume design alone. Praise, right? Just the attention to detail. Just like the design of the ship, for example, that I was driving it.
And the little dragonfly versions, the little ones that would seem to rest on the edge.
Yeah, like those things. Just giving us a glimpse at Wakandan life, making us really learn more about their culture and whatnot. To the point that I want to go there, even though it's not a real place, right?
Yeah.
But it's the performances that really sell too. From Chadwick Boseman all the way down to Michael B. Jordan, who just absolutely killed it, though. I think he is one of the best villains that we've gotten in the MCU thus far, and a true return to form in terms of like the few villains that we got over the past couple of years, which was kind of right. With the exception of Lawrence Evil.
No, but they give us both. They give us both.
He killed it.
But they did give us Vulture last year.
Oh yes,
Yes,
it did.
Pretty damn good actually.
The side characters, whether it's Winston Duke or whether it's the Guerrera, forgive me if I get it wrong.
Right.
All these characters, they just come through really good. Even Forrest Whitaker, who, in
retrospect,
retrospect, I felt that he could have given a little bit more time. He just kind of went out this quick, but when he was there, he owned it as well. Everybody just put their all into this movie, and that to me just kind of outshines all the flaws and all the narrative issues that I could think of, right? The more I look at it. So at the moment, I'm going to give this a very 4.5 out of 5 stars, but this is hands down one of the best movies of the year. I know I'm going to be going back to this a lot.
Yeah,
this is going to be my top 5 for sure.
Top 10 in the end of the year.
It might make top 5 for me. I'm not too sure anymore, but this is...
it's early call.
We have Ant-Man 2 this year. We have Aquaman. We have Infinity.
I know Infinity War is going to blow everything out of the water.
We still have a lot of movies out there that we can make a list.
Yeah, but as far
Deadpool 2 as well.
Deadpool 2 as well. But as far as MCU movies go, this is one of the best.
Yeah.
It is top 5, maybe. I don't really have time to rank it right now. Yeah. But I still love Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier is like
Winter Soldier
top 1 for me.
My number 1.
I love Iron Man, but Winter Soldier.
Actually, you're right. It's number 1.
Yeah,
I was gonna say the first Avengers, but nah.
Oh yeah, that's the one I should remember.
That was the fourth.
Yeah, that was the fourth.
But now Winter Soldier Winter Soldier just elevated itself so much, and it was my favorite movie of I think it's 2014 it came out here.
Basically for me it's Winter Soldier, Iron Man, Black Panther, Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy Part 1.
No Civil War.
Number 3, right?
Civil War will struggle with Avengers. Because honestly when I first saw Avengers, that feeling,
Avengers was
Avengers just come and just prove
dominance.
So
I think left out a lot of stuff that I wish they had put in. So
last words last. So yes, this movie does live up to the hype, but please go into this not as an excuse for you to put another dashiki and show off.
Let the people dress up in the
dashiki.
Listen, dress up in the dashiki. Walk with your cookie room.
No. Listen, like I'm not saying don't go in.
Instead of popcorn, bring fufu.
I mean, go in dress however you want to, but just know that you're going to get a great movie period. Regardless of whether it's Marvel or superhero or if it's black or white, it's a great movie.
It's fantastically designed as a crowd design.
It does what it's supposed to do. It entertains. The epic scope I felt really works. Because anything else would make it kind of lame in my opinion. And what more can I say? Just go and see this damn movie. Go and see the Sodas. And listen to them soundtracks though. Listen to them soundtracks.
Next.